Today's episode, we're going to be diving into the inner work, right? When it comes to achieving success, when it comes to unlimited success, one thing that I have found is that many times people's energy are trapped in the future through procrastination. You're going to do this, and I've spoken a lot about procrastination in the past. And then what I want to dive into is that another place where energy is trapped is in the past, right? Is that when you want to make progress, if you want to make significant progress in life, you need to start bringing your energy into now, into today, into this moment. And so, one of those places that energy, your mind, your heart is trapped, right? Could be in the future, what you say you're going to do in the future that you never do, procrastination, or the past is holding you back. Because in order for you to actually achieve success, to build, to create, okay, to build the life of your dreams, you have to align your mind, your heart, your energy, and your being, your force, your physical being, right? Because all of them must align before you can become a force in the world. You need force, you need energy to do work. Okay. You need to do work. And in order to do work, if your mind is here and your heart is there and you're here, there, you're divided and you cannot do what it is you're here to do. So, what I want to share today is one of the core, should I say, principles or tools or that even professionals use to heal past traumas. So one thing I'll say during this session, and I'm going to repeat it several times, is that if you need help, seek professional help. Okay, so this is not child's play per se. This is deep inner work, right? And I'll introduce you to it. I'll share a lot of benefits to you. But I know that different people are different journey. Your past, different people have different pasts. Some are more serious than others. But everybody, pretty much everybody can make use of what I'm going to share today. And the reason is because as we're all making progress, right? For me, in my work, as I empower my students, my clients to creating businesses, to achieving success, this is part of the reason many people do not achieve success. Many people are overwhelmed. Many people are tired. Many people are confused. Many people are lost. I'm telling you. And one of the things you have to do is sit with yourself and try and unpack all those things so that you can actually find what your own root cause is and start removing all of those things so that you can run your race. Okay, so that you can run your race, so that you can achieve success. And reparenting is one of those strategies, let me say strategies, that even professionals in the mindset or healthcare therapist world, they use. So that's what I'm saying. Seek help. You need help because your energy, your life force is trapped in the things you've not unpacked, in the things you've not resolved. And when it is time to achieve success, you want to build a business, you want to achieve success, you need to go to school, you need to, right? All of those things keep people behind. Okay. So let me talk about this idea that, everyone, your soul, you know what you need. Your soul always knows what it needs. Your soul always knows what feels right and what feels wrong. Part of this journey is also starting to trust your own inner voice than any other voice in the world. Because most people are externally oriented, they are governed and led by voices outside of themselves. What people expect of you, what the world wants you to do, right? All of those things. You are being pulled away from yourself. You are being pulled away from your center. And when you are being pulled away from your center, you lose your power. You've given your power all away, right? You've given it to the government, you've given it to your employers, you've given it to the society, you've given it to culture, you've given it away. And so now you don't have power. Anytime I hear people say, I don't have this, so I can't do this, I don't do this, I don't have time, I don't have this, I don't have this, is because you've given it all away, right? And many people are programmed. People have been programmed. Most people in the world have been programmed to give their power away, to outsource yourself. right? You've been made promises that your employer will do things for you, your government will do things for you, your parents will do things for you, your siblings will do things for you, other people will do things for you. Yes, when you are a child, but when people don't cross over, when they don't mature out of that mindset of limitation and dependency, okay? When you don't grow up from, yes, this is not age. Your mind has to grow up, your heart has to grow up, it has to heal. You have to wake up to a new mindset that takes on full responsibility. If you don't take 100% responsibility of your future, it's because you've given some of it away to systems. Okay, you've given responsibility away to system. And coming back to the soul level, at the soul level, you actually know what is right and wrong for you. But here's the key: most people do not slow down enough to even listen to their own heart. They're listening to everybody else, the news, social media. Everybody else is governing you, directing you. Yes, that is true when you are a child, when you are 5 year old. Yes, because you don't know what to do. Yes, when you're 5, you ought to be governed. But I'm saying that mindset crosses over. Many people do not grow out of that mindset. And that's one of the problems. Many people get so used to being governed, being directed, being told what to do. And trust me, the traditional education system also groomed you for this. Sit down, the teacher will tell you what to do exactly what the teacher told you to do, and you get an A. It's a mindset, a programming. Okay, it's a programming. I'm calling it out so that you are now aware. Anytime you feel lost, anytime you cannot lead yourself, anytime you cannot lead yourself from where you are to where you ought to be, I'm telling you, this is part of it. You've been programmed to be dependent on other people to lead you. Confusion, right? And if you're going to even lead yourself, that means you have to have superior knowledge, superior information to guide your own soul. Because part of when you were young was that the people that were leading you, right, were told they had superior knowledge, superior insights, leadership authority more than you. So you were supposed to listen to them and follow them, right? That was how it was designed. You came into the world with zero knowledge, with zero expertise. You were dependent on your parents, right? And so they nurtured you, they programmed you, they told you everything that works for them. They told you this is how the world is, this is how you speak, right? You came into this world that was occupied by people before you, and those people programmed you. Now, if you still continue in that light and you don't reverse and you don't take back authority, leadership over your life, your future, you are still going to be dependent. You'll still be waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. You'll still be waiting for somebody to lead you. You'll still be waiting. And I'm saying, what are you waiting for? You've been programmed to wait, but part of success is you don't wait anymore. Part of success is you take full responsibility to now enlighten yourself, educate yourself, guide yourself, lead yourself, give yourself everything you need to go to where you want to go. But when people haven't made this transition, they've not done this work, they've not done the personal development, you've not grown out of that programming, then you keep waiting. Whatever your boss says, you give them your life. They tell you, they take over your life. You give the government, you are depending on the government, you're good, right? It's a programming. It's by design. And the day you now want much more than they gave you, whoever they are, the day you want more than your employer is giving you, your government is giving you, your family is giving you, this, that day, hopefully that's the day you wake up and you grow up. And part of it is reparenting. Is this idea that also the gap, when you look at the past, the things that you wish had happened that didn't happen, the things you wish didn't that ought not to have happened that happened. And that's why I said seek help. You hear me say this over and over for this session, because this session is very, very sensitive. Okay? Because people's past, listen, there are serious things that people need to walk through in their past. But for an average person, it's just you taking responsibility, right? It's not that serious. But I'm telling you, so many things have happened to so many people, And those things, you're stuck there. People are stuck there. They are every single day when they wake up, they are rehashing that past because it's very traumatic. And that's why you need to seek help. This particular session, I'm going to repeat that over and over and over and over and over again. You know why? Many people have procrastinated seeking help. This is part of the issue. Many people are hoping that it goes away. It doesn't go away. You take rest. You are the one to grow up. Until you grow up, until you take responsibility, until you do this work, these things persist. They persist. They're not going anywhere. You are the one to really, really, really take responsibility, take charge, and do what has to be done. These things don't go away. They just persist forever. 30 years after, it still feels like yesterday. When you don't do this work, it's chasing you. Not Let me rephrase that. It's not that it's chasing you, it's within you. Right? It's not outside of you, it's within you. Whatever happened to you, it's the memory, you're carrying it around. Right? Whatever that stuff is baked. It's baked into you. It's like an operating system. If you don't find the virus and delete it, it's there. It may be hiding in plain sight, but it's there. It's there. And so when we start talking about, oh, business development, success, entrepreneurs academy, let's go, because my programs empower you to achieve success. Empower. You have to take your power back. And one of the ways of getting your power back is education, enlightenment, right? The knowledge you give yourself about learning the world, learning more about yourself, and navigating the world in order to achieve and arrive where you want to achieve, right? Achieve what you want to achieve, arrive where you want to arrive. And there are many things that will not help you arrive. There are many things that will not help you achieve. One of them is the past. One of them is procrastination. One of them, right? There are many. It's a long list. That's why one of the programs at Toyin Umesiri Academy, right? My Entrepreneurs Academy. The very first journey you're going to go on the journey to business growth and success, my roadmap program, 12 strategies for winning in life and business, the game plan series. You know why? You need a game plan to achieve success. You don't stumble into it because many things, if you don't use each of those strategies to guide yourself, to lead your life, to commit your personal life works, right? Life strategy workbook. That workbook, you will reorient yourself. Because many people are scattered. They're here, they're here, they're there. They're scrolling, they're scrolling, they're scrolling. They're here, they're here. You are burning energy, but you find yourself, you're still in the same spot. Divided energy without direction, without focus, without vision. You can be all over spinning, 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 spinning around. A year goes by, nothing much has changed. Okay, I know this one is quite intense. Whoever, if you want to ask a question, feel free to use the chat space. If you like to come up, come up as well. And I see others on different platforms. Thank you for being. I know this one is quite it's heavy. That's why I'll keep saying seek professional help. People need more help or less help depending on right history, right? So part of reparenting, repenting, Minister Toyin, yes, repent. You might need to repent anyway. So when you look at your past, okay, how do you feel about it? One of the things I shared, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, about self-sabotage, how you think, how you feel, emotions, okay, and behavior, right? How they're all connected. So when you take a look at your past, what are your thoughts about your past? What are your thoughts? This is when you need a pen. This work, you have to quiet yourself and get it right, because many people are rushing through life but not knowing that, where are you going? You actually make more progress if you learn how to quiet yourself and do a lot of inner work and listen to your heart's soul for guide, right? You're going to guide yourself. You have to lead yourself, right? So it's either you are letting the world lead you. The news media is telling you this, right? People out there are telling you that their expectations of you pressures you and you perform. You're in performance mode. You're performing for everybody. You're trying to make everybody happy. You're using your energy on and on and on. In fact, when you do this work, you can serve the world better. If you don't do this work, you would thin out, burn out, right? And still you not be happy because you are trying to make other people happy instead of making yourself happy. In terms of service, will make you happy if you serve in the right light. Okay. So when you think about your power, number one, right? What do you think? When you think about your past and you look at it and you interrogate it, how do you feel collectively, like cumulatively? I know there will be highs, lows, but overall, what are your thoughts about your past? Okay. Emotions, energy in motion. That's the definition of emotion. What emotions are tied to your past? Because the healthiest emotion, okay, the healthiest feeling about a past is gratitude. Okay, when you do all this work, if you do the work, if you do it right, the emotion that ought to connect us to our past is gratitude. You cannot change it. And so if you cannot arrive at gratitude, it means there's still so much anger stuff attached tied to it. Who did what? Who didn't do what? Who could have done it better? This. And I trust me, this is not living in denial. This is reality. But when you do the work, if you do the work, what happens is you need to be grateful. You need to be thankful. You need to appreciate all of the contributions the past has made, right? Those who contributed towards wherever you are. Okay. And then you need to forgive. Gratitude and forgiveness. Those two things, they are the two solutions ultimately to healthy relationship with the past. Forgive, let go of all the negativity, and then appreciate all the contribution. Those two things, you need those two things to do this work. Thankful for all the beautiful things and the not so beautiful things. Listen, I let it go, let it go, let it go, right? Right? It takes years to arrive at this conclusion. Years of work. It doesn't happen overnight. I'm just saying, if you go on the journey and you do the work, those are the two things. The most healthiest thing you can do with the past is to be grateful, right? Appreciate all the great things that contributed to the person you are. Number two, to forgive and let it go. If you don't do those two things, you are still living a lot in the past, and the past is still controlling you, is still holding on to you. Now, fast forward to today. Fast forward to this moment. Does anybody have any questions? I'll put my email above. Okay, I'm seeing some comments. Says your network is there. Is there a replay? Okay. Yes, we'll leave a replay out there for sure. And then I want to encourage you all to share this, like, subscribe, do all those things. But most importantly, share. This message is so important, right? So let's share. What I also want to put out there is an email. My info@toyinumesiri.com, because I know many people may not be able to type right now because of privacy, but reach out. But again, I always say seek professional help, right? The reason I'm covering this is because as I support people in the world of business development in my school, as I serve my clients, trust me, many of the things, listen, you are consuming content. There's abundance of content in the world. If you don't attack these things, it doesn't make much difference. That's what I've seen. And that's why in my school, when you join my school, toyinumesiri.academy, you are supported with mindset work first before you go into business technical. You know what? You're going to do business. I know that we do business the way we do life. And if you've not fixed your life and you come into business, the business will look exactly like your life. Exactly like your life. Because your mind will soon, that same mind that created your reality, you will translate it into your business. And if you have staff, you have people, that chaos that you've not managed, you just create a mess. You create a mess. You do business the way you do life. And so that's why I always talk about success in business and life, because they are coupled. When you decide to use your life force, energy, and resources to create solutions for other people, I'm also saying before you start creating solutions for other people, at least solve your own stuff first. Before you start making promises in the marketplace, I can do this for you, I can do that for you. Do something for your soul first. Serve your soul, feed your soul. Don't deplete, don't be serving people out of emptiness, pain, chaos. You will serve people better, with joy, with fulfillment, with purpose, when you are happy. That's all you can share with people. Find your happiness, find your own inner peace. Be at peace with your life. Be at peace. And trust me, you can then work with more people in the world. But if there are so many things, people want to divide, home life, work. These things bleed. They bleed. They bleed. You can't. You are a full human being. When you show up in your house, and then you wake up 5 a.m., 5:30, whatever. The person who showed up all of a sudden 8, 9 a.m. at the office, is it not the same person? But here's what happens: we mask. People mask. It's like you put on a persona to survive the world out there. That stuff is also stealing your energy. The stuff it's that's why when I come here, what you see is what you get. Because who has time to be changing personality? Who's got time for that? Right? One moment you are this, one moment you are that. Guys, it's because you've not done this work. You actually limit your power and impact if you are switching like that. Let your yes be your yes. Let your no be your no. Let who you are be who you are. Let who you are not be who you are not. Say yes when you want to say yes. Say no when you want to say no. But people say yes when they mean no, and they say no when they mean yes, and they are confused. You confuse yourself. You confuse other people. One of the programs, the game plan, one of the strategy, I was explaining this idea that who you are at the soul level when it comes to self-expression. Okay, when it comes to self-expression, this is what I found. This is what most people suffer from. At the heart, you actually know what you want, who you are, and what you communicate. What you hope to communicate, what you want to say to the world. However, between your heart and your mouth and your physical body, within the heart that we do not see, that God only sees, and and your mouth and your physical expression, in between those two things are the filters that people have put in place. And that filter, listen, can be corrosive, can be destructive, can actually mess people up. It's one of the biggest things that mess people up. This is why you don't get what you want to get. There's a filter. And so if you don't clean that filter, and that filter is heavily influenced by nature, what I call nature, nurture, culture. The identity you've taken on, the person you've decided you are now, that story that has shaped this current identity, and the past is the culprit. Okay, you've agreed to become who you are today by the stories, your agreements and disagreements with what happened to you in the past, by nurturing what was poured into you, the thoughts, ideas that people poured into you and told you this is who you are, this is how you're supposed to communicate, and you agreed with them, right? That nurturing, the people who raised you and what they presented to you as life, their life, how they lived their life and gave to you, and you accepted that. And then culture, the collective agreements that society has on what people hear, right? How you do things, how you say things. And culture is also divided. It's divided into communities, community culture. There is microculture, there's right? So what happens is at the soul level, you know who you are. You know what you want to say. You have a place of expression. This is why we talk about freedom of expression, right? Is that not everybody is free in the world to express themselves by culture or nature or nurture. Not everybody is given freedom to speak their truth. So guess what? You have to adapt. That adaptation creates a filter on your voice, right? If you are raised by a family that says you talk too much, they shut you up, they shut you down, Your freedom of expression was robbed by culture. Now you have to adapt to survive that mode. And so you learn how to mute yourself, how to silence your voice. And so you don't know your power has also been minimized. So whenever you come publicly and people say things, your mind has to first figure out, are we here to say the truth? Are we free? Is this a place where I can be myself or not? Your mind will have to factor in. You're now you're scanning the environment. Is this a place where I can be safe? Can I really say what's on my mind? Can I not? Your mind is programmed to adapt. Your mind is not free. Your energy is now spent trying to please culture, because culture nature also has its weapon. If you don't adapt and if you don't comply, control has a weapon of judgment. The ultimate weapon for control is judgment. You'll be judged, you'll be called out quickly. How dare you say that? How dare you do that? And so those who want to avoid judgment must comply, will comply. And they become who culture nurturing says they should become. Now, when it's time for you to achieve success, to build your business, you have to come out from under that. Because your soul wants to speak. Your soul is here on an assignment. No matter how muted you are, listen, your soul wants freedom. Your soul deserves freedom of expression. And if you don't parent yourself to give yourself these gifts of expression, you cannot achieve unlimited success. You can't. Because that's programming, that adaptation, your mind is programmed to, right? So now it's time to post. You want to post on social media. You're like, what will people say? What will people say? You don't want judgment. It's time for you to host your YouTube channel. You're like, I'm shy. You are avoiding judgment. It's the fear of judgment. That's the ultimate recipe for this. If you don't reparent yourself, okay, you are constantly afraid of the world, of nurturing, of culture, of even yourself. You don't know how you will show up in that space. You see that this stuff is everything's connected. Fear of judgment. So reparenting yourself is, listen, you have to nurture yourself into well-being. You have to now listen, you have to now say, you know what? Enough. Thank you so much. That's why I say gratitude. The only way to deal with the past is gratitude. Eshe, thank you. I just spoke my language, my native language. You say thank you so much. I appreciate all of that. But here on out, you see, I am my own parent now. That is adulting for you. But do you know one thing? Those who still want to seek benefit from the past will not do this work. Because the day you take responsibility, some people will lose their identity. The day you want to gain a new identity, I was preaching in church, is it 4 weeks ago? Some weeks ago. And the title was The Birth of a New Identity. The birth of a new identity. The time you now want to reparent and you want to give birth to a new identity, the one that is more aligned, that is more suited with the original plan God has for you and I. People will give you their best. They will set you up for the best. This is also what you will do for your kids, right? But I'm telling you, no matter what people do, good, bad, ugly, at some point, and I hope this happens sooner versus later, at some point, you have to take responsibility for listening to your soul and asking yourself, what do I need? It's like, what do you want to eat? Right? When you were young, if people say, what do you want to eat? Somebody else who's responsible for feeding you. When you are 5 years old, well, let's start. When you are 0, they don't even ask you. They know you just, you're fed. You're fed. All you have to do is cry for food. Some people are still crying today. Cry for food. It's somebody else's responsibility. When you are 5, guess what? Somebody will teach you how to hold your own plate. So when you want to eat, you have to hold a spoon. Say, Mama, you have to hold, right? So you will have to give a signal and somebody else will still give you food. 10 years old, by this time, people will say, go and serve yourself. The food is in the kitchen. Go and serve yourself. You now need to learn new skills. When you're 14 or 15, you might have to learn how to make spaghetti. You now cook, I will eat. When you're 19, 20, hopefully you are now contributing somewhat. You go to the groceries, you can buy milk, you can buy few things. When you're 24, 20, I don't know, whatever that age is, you move out, you are now by yourself. At a certain age, you take on the responsibility, you pay it back. This is the cycle of life, right? This is the cycle of life. And I'm saying, just like that is true when it comes to just food, responsibility of feeding your physical being. The same is true when it comes to your emotions, when it comes to your mind, when it comes to your energy. Is that someone was regulating you. When you remember when you were crying, wah, 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 they'll say, oh, sorry, don't cry again. Oh, what happened to you? Oh, sorry. Right? Someone was responsible for soothing your emotions. Right? At some point now, as you're growing, listen, take care of your emotions. But what usually happens is that something happens in between. When you are raised, and because I do a lot of work in multicultural spaces and immigrant community a lot, what I also see is that if you are raised in a culture that also doesn't allow you to express your emotions, many people are not maturely able to handle their emotions today, because emotion also is a practice, it's a discipline, right? Thoughts, how we think, how we feel, our behavior. If you haven't practiced in a safe place how to get angry, get upset, forgive people, and see it as the normal side of life, and be able to flex, express, right? Express, control, express. Those are things that at a young age we're supposed to. That crying is one of the most immature, right? When you're a child, the most immature expression is that when you don't have a voice, when you cannot put to voice what you are feeling, you don't have a way of expressing yourself or asking for what you want in a meaningful way, you cry. And and I mean, you go from crying perpetually. There are still parts of us as adults, we still have to there's still some things you cannot process. So ability to cry in a way, but minimally is still healthy, because there are certain things you just want to let it out, right? But when you are a baby, when you're a child, when you're a baby, that's all you do. That's all a baby does. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. What is wrong? Is it poopy? Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it this? Is it that? Right? That's the process. But hopefully, as you grow, that goes down and the self expression is supposed to go up. Right? Complaining, crying ought to go down. Self expression, the power to express yourself, communicate firmly, express your power, assert yourself in the world. This is what I want, this is what I don't want. Many people don't have that because something took it away. Your ability to say no, I'm not interested. Many people cannot say that today. Just saying no. you know, Oprah will say no is a full sentence. No, without need to explain or anything. Some people say explain. No, my no is my no. I'm off. That is, people are still not there. But your heart is saying no. When your heart is saying no and you are saying yes, you are denying yourself. And that is a programming from certain nurturing culture identity. People pleaser, right? If people who go through this people pleasing is a you've adapted to unsafe circumstances. It wasn't safe enough for you to express yourself in the most authentic version of you. So part of your adaptive process is to say yes when you mean no, because the people or the place or the community haven't given you the right to say no. They've robbed you, they've denied you of your ability to express yourself and say no. And so you've adopted to keep saying yes, 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 to please everybody and deny yourself. Reparenting yourself is part of owning that and developing new skills to say to the world what you actually meant to say to the world, and to stop denying yourself. You're going to need this when it comes to business, because the moment you start having staff, okay, the moment you start working with clients and customers, you have to set the expectation. And if you're saying yes and your entire staff took your yes as your yes, but you meant to say no, you've just confused the entire organization. Right? You cannot lead people. You cannot lead people if you've not done this work. Guys, you cannot lead if you've not led yourself. If you've not given yourself permission to express your authentic voice. You can't lead other people. You will confuse other people, because one day you will say yes. Everybody said, oh, she said yes. But yet, when they start acting on your yes, based on your yes, regrets. Now you'll be angry with them. Now you're now there's a lot of microaggression, like all these things, like the symptoms of all these things. It's just horrible behavior. Microaggression, call it, there are different names to it. People who cannot express their real voice. My yes is my yes, my no is my no. And also welcome other people's yes and no and receive people as they are. You cannot lead. You can't lead, because you will lead people astray. Can you imagine a general in an army that hasn't done this work, and they are going to war, and your sergeant came and said, sir, what are we doing today? And you told them we are going right when you meant to say left, and they all went right, and they ended up in a ditch. You are responsible for their deaths. They ended up in an ambush. Who is responsible? You. Lack of leadership. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. You start sending people in the wrong direction. And guess what? Ultimately, you send energy into the world that will boomerang at you. It will come back at you. What you put out will come back at you. Also, you're going to attract other people like that. And so when you now get into relationship, you are saying yes when you mean to say no. The person you're in relationship to is saying yes when he meant to say no. So no equals to yes. Now you are living a lie. Guys, you see, so when it comes to business and life, you need to bring all those things together. And reparenting is now retraining. It has many facets to it. One of it is the things that bring you joy, giving it to yourself. All the things you were denied of, hopefully now you can give yourself peace. Whatever it is you value, your soul values, hopefully you can start bringing it into your real world now, right? The When it comes to expression, all the things you could not say when you didn't have power, hopefully now part of being empowered is empower yourself to say what you want to say, when you want to say it, how you want to say it. And part of it is also developing communication skills. Many people have not developed effective communication, strategic communication, right? Because your ability to express yourself in a way that is clear, that is direct, where you take responsibility for what it is you're saying. But I also know that many people are not ready to receive truth. This is what we talk about, truth. The truth setting us all free. We're living in a world where lies, right? Lies is everywhere. Okay. Okay, I see Madam Oluyemisi says, I'm relating to this. I'm relating this to groups and associations. You reparent yourself first, at least know who you are, and then go ahead to reparent the group members. It starts with the individual. Absolutely. So what I do is I give people the tools. I'm not responsible for reparenting anybody. This is one of the things I say about open minds versus closed minds. Most people have also been trained to block their mind from receiving new information. So if actually this type of truth, you bring it onto people that are not ready, they will reject you, your message, they will throw you out. So wisdom is also applied. Okay? So a mind that is not ready to do this work will not receive this message, because this message is so deep. Until if you're not ready to go there and confront yourself and tell yourself the truth and own your future and take responsibility, nobody would receive this message. I know that. So what I do instead, you don't get, also you don't I don't impose any, there's nothing to impose on anybody. What I'll do is share what works for me, but I also give my clients and students the tools to do this work for themselves, because I'm not responsible. Even as a coach, what we would do at best, what we would do is to hold your hands, encourage you, give you tools to run your race in life. Because also part of self-sabotage is, when people want to outsource this responsibility again to coaches and and mentors. Mentor me. Now they want the mentor to do all the work. No. What we will do is we'll create the atmosphere, we create the space. That's why my school, the Entrepreneurs Academy, over 300 resources for those who want to unlock business growth and success. The resources are there, the tools are there, right? The support is there, the education is there, inspiration is there, motivation is there, challenging you is there, transformation will be given birth to is there. Those who now want to do the work, we will have to come. You have to come in. Listen, that's why I said seek help. The doctor doesn't come to you. The dentist doesn't come to you. The coach doesn't come to you. The therapist doesn't come to you. You are supposed to own your stuff. If by now adults are not owning themselves, are moving and finding the doctor and the help they need, you leave, you persist in that, whatever you're persisting in. Right? So what I also do, if you run a group, you can create awareness for them, and then you can challenge them, and then you can bring the tools to them. You can also encourage them, you can inspire them, but that's all you can do. That's all you can do. Give them the tools, give them the encouragement, give them the challenge them. Only those who wake up, only those who take responsibility, only those who want to roll up their sleeves and take this forward will ever do the work, because this is real work. You have to give it time. And those who procrastinate, because the other side of this is, people will listen to this now. I would say, oh, my school, this. Procrastinators will say tomorrow again, which is also self-sabotage. You do not realize that what governs day and time, okay, is as the earth rotates and spins on its axis. The side that faces the sun is daytime. The side that is away from the sun is nighttime. You are moving today's work into tomorrow. The world hasn't rotated yet. You can't. Oh my gosh. Whew. You need to start organizing your day, your daily practice. One of the strategy in my school, because for you to achieve success in business, if you don't do apply time management, if you don't discipline yourself, if you don't have daily practices, if you don't see the value that all you have is today, all you have is now. The decisions you make now are the most important decisions you will ever make. It's not the decision you make tomorrow. Life is lived one day at a time. The earth is always rotating, right? One day at a time. It doesn't rotate in tomorrow. It's now. It's right now. The ground under you is shifting. And if you don't shift with it, the world is changing. You are not changing. The world is upgrading system. Excuse me. And you are not upgrading. Right? You will show up into a new world that you have not prepared for. You will show up into a future. The earth will continue spinning as long as God allows it. It spins day one, two, three, four. Suddenly, the whole world has changed. Your office has changed. Your industry has changed. ChatGPT, AI has changed. Blockchain, all these things are changed. You haven't changed. Now, you don't have the tools to cope. The speed of change is happening anyway, whether you change or not. The world doesn't care. Look around you. Look at currencies, everything. Read the newspaper. Every day the world is changing. The only people that are not changing are the ones still stuck. Remember, the past, energy is stuck in the past. Who did what? Who didn't do what? Da 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 da. Right? The person you've become, the person is the person you've become, just like a computer, is a series of agreements and disagreements. You agreed to become this person. And when I said I preach around the birth of a new identity, you become a new person when who you've become, okay, is not satisfactory. When you know there's so much more inside you, when you know you've packed so much, right, there's so much you can offer the world, right? That means you have to change. That means you have to change. And what has to change? Your thinking has to change. Your emotions have to change. Behavior has to change. And that's what transformation is. And transformation, the way you give birth to transformation is that you walk, you create change by the things you do. And so when people just focus on consuming content, consuming content, content doesn't change you. Content doesn't change you. Just if, in fact, too much content confuses people. It actually makes it worse for many people. It does. It does. What changes us is us choosing to change behavior. And the way we change behavior is to reverse engineer behavior. Right? Well, if you don't change behavior, you haven't changed. No matter how much content you are consuming, until you change behavior, how you're showing up, who you are, your identity. If you don't change any of that, you haven't changed. So people will go 1 year consuming content, another consuming content. But guess what? The person who entered this year is the person who lives this year. No transformation, no growth, no expansion, no additional skills, right? On and on and on. Okay. So there's so much to this. But what I would say is that when I ask that question, what are your thoughts about the past? What are the emotions about the past? And how do you feel, right? How do you feel about the past? And what would you do about the past? For different types of people, the emotion that stirs up in within you is a clue. It's going to be a clue to let you know how much work you still have to do. If you grip your heart and you feel sorrow and sad, you have to find help. You need to find it. You need to process all of that. That stuff is your energy is trapped in it. Anything that holds your emotion holds your energy. Emotion is energy in motion. The energy that flows within you, if it's not progressive, if it's not exciting, if it's not propelling you forward, you have work to do. Is trapped. It's trapped in emotion. And so one of the things is processing your emotions, unpacking those things. And I've said there are two healthy ways. When you've done this work, when all is said and done, the two conclusions I want you to have about the past is gratitude. Thank you so much, because yes, people gave you energy, people helped you become, people supported you on that journey. Yes, they are humans. Yes, they may have failed. Yes, they may have spoken to you the way they ought not to. Yes, they may have treated on and on and on and on. But never, never, ever, ever deny the past of gratitude. Because where you are going forward to, some people will support you. You see, some people will help you go from where you are to where. So always bring gratitude every day. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Like, gratitude is one of those things where it's just a principle. Lead with gratitude. You will receive more help. Okay, so gratitude for everything people have done for you, they will still keep doing for you. Some will move forward, some will be let go, right? Some people may be relevant to the past, they may not be relevant to the future. God knows how He works these things out. Gratitude always. And then forgiveness is the second weapon. Because if you don't forgive, this part of reparenting, if you don't forgive and you don't forget, God is sending new people to bless you. And if you impose the failures of the past people on the innocent bystander, somebody just told you hello, you're like, what do you want? Somebody just said hi, and you're like coming at them. You are triggered, and you now vomit, you now throw up on them, you make a mess. And guess what happens? People start running away from you. Because you've not dealt with emotion. You've not confronted those who did stuff to you. And now, because that emotion is still holding on, is still present within you, that negativity, that toxicity, anybody that now comes into your life, you handle them with toxicity, with negativity. That's what's happening. So any new person, even if they want to do business with you, they want to do contracts with you, they want to be your client or this or that, anybody, any new innocent person that has not done you any wrong, that is just innocently coming at you, whoo, you light up. Now they bear all of the burden of your lack because you've not done this work. You are now putting the responsibility on them. You're holding them accountable. You're now treating them in the present as if they were the ones who hurt you in the past. Reparenting is before you start damaging relationship, before you start damaging other people, right? Because you haven't healed yourself. Reparenting is suit yourself again. You know what? Calm down. Bele. You know? So reparenting is then talking to how you talk to yourself in an healthy way. You know, you can now talk to yourself the way you wish other people had talked to you. What's stopping you? But usually what happens when people haven't done this work is that they now program you to be your own abuser. That's the worst thing ever. Those who abused, I'm using this word loosely, guys. I'm using this abusive word loosely. That's why I say seek help. You keep hearing me say seek help, seek help, seek help, find help, call somebody, call an expert, do this work. You will set yourself free. But let's say somebody traumatized you in the past. You didn't do the work. The tendency is that you take on the identity of the same person who traumatized you, and then you start beating yourself with the same whip. You don't know because their voices are familiar in your head. Those voices are familiar. Those who controlled you, those who didn't handle you well, they've gone. They are living their own life. But guess what? They gave you the whip. Now people start bad talking themselves. Oh, look at me. I'm not this, I'm not that. You now start repeating those voices that they programmed inside you. And now you start replaying it. Oh, what? Look at this. Look, whatever those voices are. Listen. Gosh, these are viruses. Reparenting yourself means don't treat yourself in the same bad way you didn't like. Don't be the new traumatizer of yourself. Your thinking, your emotions, your behavior. Self-sabotage is when it's in conflict with everything you want. Reparenting is treating yourself in a kind, gentle, precious way with your voice. Some people's mind assaults them. Some people's heart weakens them. Some people's behavior chains them. Go and find help. Now, not tomorrow, today. Right? Look up a number. Call somebody today. Because when you do this work, if you do this work, success is yours. Because you dust, it's like dust that stuff. Let it go. Because what you do have now is the power to create the future you want. That's why this is important. Because some people will be wondering, why is Toyin talking like this? It's because In the world that I live, I empower my students and clients for the future. Build the future, create the future. But guess what? You can't build or create in chaos. Oh, show up. Oh, no time. Where is the time? Where did your time go? Scrolling on social media, conversations that are limiting, trapped in chaos. The time, listen, it's either you're working on your future or you're working on your past. And I'm saying prioritize work on the past so that you can work on the future. And if you've worked on the past, you can work on the future. So my message always is about what future do you see? Business, success, world builder, all those things. The Entrepreneurs Academy, Toyin Umesiri Academy. Listen, mindset work, personal development, branding, marketing, sales, but right, all those things you want to sign up. Here's the deal though. This is what usually happens. And this is why this talk conversation is so important. If you don't do the inner work, people procrastinate. They blame other people. They don't show up. They don't do this. They all kinds of things. And still they'll be like, oh, this. And then if you're a Christian, let me put this out there. If you're one of those people still praying, God help, 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 this is the help you need. Because part of help is you helping yourself. Part of help is taking responsibility, at least seeing what the problem is. And when you see it, there's also a scripture that says some people will look at the mirror, they will see the mirror and they forget. Don't forget this conversation. If anything I've said here resonates, do something about it today. Don't say again tomorrow. Tomorrow is not in your control. The earth has not moved into tomorrow. The earth is still rotating right now. And it's an opportunity for you to fix what needs to be fixed. Because what you fix now, tomorrow will be better. If you don't fix it, tomorrow will look like today. If you don't change, nothing changes. On that note, let's call it a wrap. I want to hear from you. Absolutely, yes. The best we can do for people, this is what I found. Only those who are ready to take responsibility for that future would actually appreciate all the things that I do in my school, will actually invest. And I invite you, if you've crossed over to that other side and you've concluded that you're ready to move into the future, check out toyinumesiri.academy. And if you want to learn more just in general about Toyin, just go to my personal brand website, toyinumesiri.com. You can read up about me, but my school, the Entrepreneurs Academy, is actually entrepreneurship and success because I couple those two things together, right? Success mindset is the first journey, right? And so on that journey, there are over 300 resources in my school, over 50 courses, programs, workbooks. It starts first with adopting a successful mindset, a successful way of being, behavior. And so the game plan 12 strategies for winning in life and business, that's the first journey. And then we go into branding. The reason is because if I move you straight into branding, you might brand your old identity, not the new identity. And I always say, listen, you can be a lioness in your heart, fierce, a lion, lioness. But in the world today, you can be like, if people describe it, they might call you a cat. They might mistake you for a cat simply because of how you're showing up, simply because you've not unleashed your power, simply because you've given your power away, simply because you are not empowered for success, simply because you are waiting for somebody, simply because your energy is trapped. You don't feel full, right? Simply because you are not pursuing. I know the difference between people who have done this work or not. People who have done this work, listen, you can feel them. They are a force in the world, right? You can feel them. Nothing is stopping them. They're not stopping themselves. They're not letting anything stop them. And people who haven't done this work, there's a story. One story, multiple story. I don't have this, so I can't do that. I don't have this. Meanwhile, in business, always, 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 you ought to be pursuing everything you need. The lion pursues. When you wake up in the morning, the journey is, what am I pursuing today? Because if you don't pursue, okay, maybe that's another. Let me just wrap this up here. God bless you all. Have a nice time. Bye.